All right. Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Plot Twist Please. I'm Shemaya. It's like papaya, except it's not. And
That's so funny.
Thank you. But I'm here with my friend Nathan.
Hi.
And we are just gonna do a little chit chat.
Just a little talking.
Yeah, about some emotions and some feelings and some relationships. Nathan. Emotions. Here's the thing. Me and Nathan are both Leos.
So we're a little bit loud.
Yeah, we're a little loud with everything. And that's fine. Like, you know, like, I'm not mad about it. And if anyone else is mad about it, whatever. Whatever. I'm in this new train of thought lately, as you've known.
Yeah.
As you've known.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about
Oh,
your new train
yeah.
of thought, though.
This new train of thought is kind of like hot girl summer, but all the time. So it's like Leo season, but every season. Here's the thing: hot girl summer can literally mean anything you want.
Oh yeah,
it to
for sure.
mean. Like hot girl summer is for everyone. Hot girl summer is everything. You know, if hot girl summer is having your picnic and reading your book on your blanket, that's hot girl summer. You know, if hot girl summer is watching Netflix while eating chips, like, that is hot girl summer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hot girl summer is hot.
Whatever you make it.
Exactly.
I was literally looking on Grindr the other day, and some guy, instead of saying hot girl summer, he was like, hot guy summer. And I was like, how insecure are you? Everybody knows it's hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Like,
come on. Like, we don't have to do that.
I mean, I guess it can be hot guy summer, but like, in the spirit of it all, it's gotta be hot girl summer. Come on.
Exactly. But yeah, so we're just talking about emotions. And how I remember talking to you about like me not being ready for a relationship and me trying to decipher like what that actually means. And I actually like, recently had a conversation with my therapist where I was like,
therapy.
we love it, we stand. Where I was like, I am not ready for a relationship, and that's just that. And then she asked me, she was like, well, why aren't you ready? And I was like, well, because it's a lot of work and I don't have a lot of time, you know, all that. And then she was like, well, how will you know when you're ready? Like, what do you think it'll be like? And I was like, oh, well, that's a good question. Just let me. So, what does it feel like to be ready for a relationship? And what does that even look like?
Well,
It's just so interesting to me.
from my personal experience, you go through phases of your life where you're very ready for a relationship, and then you're like, oh no, I am not ready for a relationship. And like, I think it personally comes from like what kind of people you're ready to like let enter your life. Like, because you can talk all around on the dating apps and talk to like so many people, but like chances are like all of them you're gonna be like, oh, I want to spend like 1 hour with you tops, or I don't want to spend any time at all with you. It's been nice chatting, but like I gotta go. And then like there will be like one person that'll come along that will just like, you know, kind of like check all the boxes, but like in a very seamless way. And like it's kind of like that like awful thing where it's just like, yeah, you gotta make it happen, but like also it just happens.
I hate.
Isn't it? It's like, oh, have you heard this one? You gotta be the one before you can find the one.
No. I reject it. I'm throwing it out. Oh, God.
But also, like, I feel like you're at a place where, like, you are ready for that, like, reception, if you would like. But also, like, we talked about this all the time. Like, dating is so time consuming. Like, it's so time consuming, and like you gotta find somebody who like jives with like your schedule, because like I imagine like I'm this kind of person, like I'm like, I want all my time to myself until I find a person that I like, and I'm like, spend it all with me right now, which is not necessarily like a healthy trait. We're working on it. Like, alone time is very important.
You love it.
But also like when you'll find somebody who's like I don't know, I feel like it's just like it'll happen, but also like
I'm
we're
sorry.
also like, oh, yeah.
I think, you know what it is?
Rebuttal.
I think the thing is, okay, so y'all know I'm autistic. Nathan knows I'm autistic. I think the thing is with like my autistic brain is it's like there has to be like rules. Like there have to be like this, if this, like this is the cause and effect. And like if you do this, then this will happen. And when that gets all jumbled or when that doesn't exist, then it's like, cause the way that I operate is through patterns and through following patterns.
Yeah.
And like honestly, the way that a lot of autistic people survive in society is through following patterns, like what to do, what not to do, and like, you know, just understanding how people operate.
Yeah.
Or like masking, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And so it just, I think it is like the antithesis of the way that I want to function. Of just being like, well, like it's just like it'll just ease into it because I'm like, oh, but what if it
Yeah.
you know, and I think part of that too is I think a lot of people in general just have so much trauma from whether relationships or situationships, and it's like you just at a certain point you come to like a standstill where you're like, oh, like I put in all this work, but nothing came from it, and so I think it's difficult for some people to conceptualize, oh, like put in all that work again, like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Here's this.
Yeah.
I had a very cathartic experience one day that ended with me like sobbing on my bed, like, and listening, just blaring Brandy Carlisle like as loud as possible because like I don't know, like if I have a spirituality right now, I guess it's Brandy Carlisle because there's this song that has a specific lyric that I think about this all the time. It's like, give your love away, give your love away, give your love away, and see what comes back to you. And like that's like so exhausting, but also like love can look so many different ways, and it doesn't have to be. It does like I as a Leo. I think I understand where you're coming from. You're like, I work so hard to make sure that the person that I know, like, that I love, like, knows that they love me. Like, because, like, Leos are, like, one for, like, grandiose. Like, they're just like, oh, here's
a little present.
Here's my heart. Like,
Yeah.
and so, like, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that Brandy Carlisle song, like, because also, like, it goes into, like, not even, like, it goes like past like romantic relationships, and it goes like into like your personal relationships. It's like see like all that love and like all that care and all that time that you gave to like somebody, and like see what happens. And like, and also there's the thing where it's like some people like just like are not capable at that point in time due to their own traumas of giving the love back. Also, like, love is not not a finite thing. Like, you will always have love, because what is love? Love is survival. Love is survival, baby. It's like everything. And like we'll always keep on trying to do it no matter what. And so, and like we can throw that love out there, and like you'll see like who reacts to it and who's honestly like ready for it. And like, and a lot of it is it's not only a you thing, it's a them thing. And so like, like I don't think you're wrong in saying that like following these patterns like is like it's correct, because like there are like, I mean, humans are like pattern based like beings. Like we're like here is no social construct, and we are doing this dance even though we don't know why.
Yeah.
And then so like you're just like, why are people doing that? And like but like everyone's also doing that dance, and like I think it's like, if you really want to get down to it, it's kind of like that little like computer like equation. Like it's just like are all the pieces falling in place? No, the pieces are not falling in place, so it's not gonna go that way right now. And so like dating's hard. Dating's hard.
It's
and
hard.
It's complicated, and it's like not nice all the time, and it's like really like I mean, okay, so like right now, like I'm living with my ex. Like he's like in the room right next door, and it's like so much fun, and it's like we're like sometimes it's really happy, and like sometimes I want to, you know, but like it's, but ooh, Dean's living in my chest. But like like one of the reasons why like I have decided to like keep him as a friend still is because I know that like that the reason why our relationship ended is because like both of us have like traumas that we haven't like worked through, and like regardless of like I don't think like we'll ever get back together because like that's not like the way that it's like headed. But I do know that like by my knowing him and by my constant like I mean today I didn't like I had like a whole like little deal where I was like, well, I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to see you because I'm mad and I don't want to be mad, but I also want my free space and alone time and like figure out why I'm mad. And then like I figured out why I was mad, and it was because I hadn't like set a boundary, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm keeping him in my life is because like we're building boundaries off of each other, and like whatever happens, like whether like we disappear in each other's lives, I'll know it's like, oh, like this was this and I have learned this from that, and I am a better person ultimately for it. And so like, and that's and so like convoluted, all the things to say is like it's tough and it's hard, and like you can learn all the rules, and like the rules are important, but also like the rules don't matter, and like, but also that's like where that's I know it's like oh good, but also that's when you get to like kind of be like, I can also make up the rules for myself.
That's fair. Yeah, it's so funny because it's like this weird dichotomy where I'm like, okay, there are the social rules, right? But I don't even follow them. Like, I don't even know what they are. Like, and so it's like I'm abiding by these things where for so long they were survival. And now it's like, well, like, literally, that's exhausting. Like, it's exhausting. And, like, I even went so far as to when I was, like, framing, like, whatever intro. Like, when you go on Bumble, you have, like, an intro because, like, the woman like makes the first move or whatever. Okay. And so it's like, oh, like here's my intro. But I was like, what did I say? I was like, okay, here's what I'm going for. Here's what I'm about. Let me know. That's it. Yeah. And there was like a hey, but then it was like, this is what I'm about. If you're about it, great. If you're not, that's fine. And more like a lot of people didn't respond to that, but people did, and people were like, oh, thank you for being so upfront. I hate when people are sugarcoating what they want. Yeah, like the people who were about it, like were about it. People who weren't, like, bye. And it's so funny too because I think back at my experience. I told you like a little bit of it, but there was this one experience that I think like really scarred me, and it was this person who I had feelings for like a few years ago. And like we were in school, like we went to school together, and I think the thing about it that was so unnerving is the fact that I was never given transparency that I was offering, and so I was saying, hey, like I'm into you, and then when something hurt me, I'd be like, hey, like this hurt me, but on the other end, nothing, like nothing, not even a like sincere 23, 22.
Usually 22 years and 23 years are idiots.
I was like, that's fair. It did like really scar me though.
But also that's also very fair. Like, but also good for you for being like, hey, that hurt me. Because like I know like one of the problems with me is like I'm very avoidant, and like I'll be like, well, I'll never tell anybody.
I'll never tell. I used to be like that. I swear. Yeah. I was like, no one will know the depths of my soul.
Yeah, no one will know that I'm like actually crying all the time. Meanwhile, like me, the loudest crier.
Right. And it's like, who does that help? Like I think
it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really allowed me to kind of just like begin to heal from that was the idea that, like, yeah, like, everyone is on their own healing journey, and, like, maybe he was just in a different spot than I was. And, like, maybe even he's not willing to face what he did, you know? And so it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, you can want someone to be there as all you want. You can want someone to be at the same point that you are, but if they're just not, there's nothing you can do to
do that. Yeah, I mean, and that's free will. That's like, I was looking at a TikTok today, which is, like, kind of the same thing about, like, I mean, it was a TikTok about a woman who was like, oh my gosh, you can't control your children, blah, blah, blah. And, like, the other person was, like, laughing because, like, they're just, like, control your children. What does that mean? And it's, like, it's the same thing with relationships. Like, you, like, no matter, like, how how much like you want it or how much you try or like you're not gonna change anybody.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna like people are going through a lot, like all the time. Like living in a way, existence is just like the most like precious little fever dream where you're just like, oh, wow, this hurts, but also isn't this fun? Isn't this fun to keep trying? But also, ooh, I'm getting hurt a lot. But also like, ooh, this is dopamine, like and so like
it's insane. Why do we do it? It's insane. But yeah, I think the part of it that really sucked was that I to this day do not know if there was deception or if it was emotional immaturity or like not being at a place where one could be present.
Why?
So it's like, was it honest person growing or dishonest person still not trying to grow?
Why can't it be all of them?
That's true. It could be. It could be.
Also, like the other frustrating thing about like life is like it's all and everything. Like you can have a person who is not ready for a relationship, who is trying really hard, but also like they're emotionally immature, and like the way that they're trying is like pretty toxic and damaging because like they don't know any other way. And but have you ever thought about like relationships and people that you meet, and not just like romantic relationships, but every relationship, but especially romantic relationships, they're all why do you get together in the first place? Because you kind of have like, I don't want to say damage because that's like not a nice word, but like in a way like y'all have similar damage, and you're like, oh, let's cuddle about our specific damage. And then maybe like you'll if you're doing the work and like growing together, like y'all heal each other's damage, but also like it's not anybody's job to like heal you, but like you heal from knowing another person. Like
I feel like that's the part where it gets so complicated for me, because I think when I think about that what I think the images of that, particularly when it pertains to black women, is black women doing all the labor and the other person getting all the you know the good stuff out of that, and I'm just laboring.
Oof,
you know what I mean?
That is being mom, and that is like childcare, and whenever you realize that like you are getting more than you are getting back, that is like a huge red flag, like a red flag that I'm like, let's ignore it.
We're not gonna go into that in here, but like, there's a lot going on.
But like, so like, you're right. There was deception. He could have been trying. Like, also like all, you know. Like, it was like, remember, like the love you feel is real, and like, and it was the grossest thing to hear at the time because it was like, but it is, and like also like. Mickey and I always like still like, I mean, I'll say it because like I'm like well I didn't spend all that time like loving you for nothing. Like, I love you, and if we're gonna like remain friends, I still love you. I love you in a different way, like maybe not in love with you, but like I have like the experience of like family is like what I like have like right now, and it's like and so it's like the love is real, and the feelings you experienced are real. Like, your feelings are valid, and like the feelings that he showed you, like, probably were real, but also like he was messed up and also not doing like good things, but also like maybe it wasn't, and maybe like he's just a trash bag, and like
we'll never know.
Like, I mean, people can be trash bags and people can be trying really hard at the same time.
That's true. That's true.
Like.
That's true. I've seen BoJack Horseman.
I love
my collarbone.
that came. I was not expecting that reference. Oh, thank you very much.
If you know it, then you know it.
Very good.
The whole series.
Oh, the whole. Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, that's why we love like flawed main characters, because also like, aren't we like the most like flawed main character in our own life?
That's real. Retweet.
I love it. Retweet.
Yeah.
I wish it worked that way. I like,
honestly,
if that's how like social media like worked, like
One day it will. Like, I swear, it's going to be able to pick up all of our thoughts and put them out in the world.
It's fine. Okay.
But so, what do you think people mean when they say that they are ready or that they're not ready for a relationship? What do you think that they means to them, and like versus like what it actually means? I don't know. Or do you think there is any difference between what they say when they say that and what they mean?
I mean, like, just like every person is a snowflake. We're all just a little bit different, but also roughly the same. We're still the same, like, rough shape. Like, we got 2 arms and 2 legs, and like we still got a brain. Oh, also, coming to terms with the fact that I might have ADHD. Just wanted to like, just like I went,
hey, we tend to find each other.
Well, like
we tend to find each other.
I don't know. I was just like, I was talking to my sister. My sister's like, yeah, 1,000.
I mean, that would make sense.
But like we like still. Our little spongy brains are usually like shaped the same. Like we're like, and like you can look into statistics. Like what I find fascinating is like you can look up like the dating apps and like how they like study. Like OkCupid was like one of the best like dating app statistic like things, and like you can look up like what's more likely to get you a response from a stranger. Is it gonna be like a hey sup, or is it gonna be like a like what?
Wait, I gotta know. I gotta know, what is it?
Well, I mean, but I don't know specifically, but I mean like it's always like sharing a little thing and like being excited, but also like you're going to respond that way naturally if you are like interested in somebody. And so like in a way it's like you can do all these extra things to get like with a person, but also like since we are already people who are already doing those things, like they happen like kind of naturally. And like what does it mean to be ready? What does it mean when people say that you're ready? And like it can mean that okay, when I moved to Chicago, like I was like, I'm ready for a relationship. And I was ready because like I had never had like a long-term like relationship like I had before, and that's something that I like really like sought out. And like after like kind of like serial dating in Chicago for a while, like I realized like I am no longer ready for a relationship in the same capacity that I was. And so you can be ready for how many types of relationships are there in the whole wide world?
That's true.
Count them.
Oh God.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, because also, like, you and I have a specific relationship that is unique to just us. Like, you have a relationship with your family that is unique to just you. But also, like, everyone has, like, those familial and, like, friendship bonds and, like, those relationship bonds. But, like, relationships are just... What does it mean to be ready for a relationship? It means your capacity for specific types of relationships will like change and ebb and flow like over the course of your life, and also like other people's relationships and their capacity for their relationship will ebb and flow over their life. And like you might like discover that like, oh, I'm really ready for something, and then another person will be like, oh, I'm not quite ready for that, and like so you have to like renegotiate, and maybe that means that like the relationship that you like once had like can't happen anymore. But like I don't like, what does it mean to be in a relationship, like, or what does it mean to be like ready for a relationship? Like that's a tumultuous like topic, and like I'm like you're like where's the truth, Nathan? And like I feel like I bamboozled you. Like
no, you did, but no, it's good because I feel like that just points out the fact that there's really, it really just has to feel good to you, like
yeah.
Like I feel like being ready, quote quote, for whatever relationship that you are saying that you are or not ready for. I feel like that just encompasses what you are willing to provide space for in your life, and like what you're willing to offer up. You know?
Yeah.
Like whether it's time, whether it's emotional energy, and you just, in order to be able to notate that, in order to be able to communicate that, you have to know yourself. Like you have to know where you're at and how much you are willing to give at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know, because I know for me, like, I'm not ready to meet anyone's family. Like that's not what I'm ready for right now.
No.
Like, we out here surviving. So, taking our vitamins and surviving. But but I think also it can change when someone comes along and is like either willing to work with you where you're at, or like makes that load feel easier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that thing? Very interesting, just like kind of like a little side note. But or romantic partners, or like just like anybody like who's dealing with another person's relationship, like you can't like have the same emotions at the same time, or you can't if you're upset about something and then I get like sympathetically upset with you, like and like or like empathetically upset like at the same level, or like upset because you're upset, like the relationship's like never gonna work. Like what keeps that like intimacy going is like oh, well, they're there. Like I'm like your emotions are your own, and like I know that they're your own, and I have my own emotions. But like once you become like so emotionally tied up in like somebody else, that like because they're sad, you're sad. Like that's kind of like the point where it all like breaks apart. Because like because in a way there's not support anymore, because you can't support somebody for being sad when you have their same sadness. And that's not saying like for everything, but like I know like in my last failed relationship, that's what happened a lot. Like some like so and so who's it's like would get sad, and like I'd be like, oh I'm sad because you're sad, and like he would even say like sometimes like he'd be like, well that's like that's like not fun, because also like my emotions are my own. And I was like, oh, it has taken me a long time to like learn that like other people's anxieties are their own, and other people's emotions are their own, and I don't need to like take that on. And so
that's real. I think too, it's really hard when you're, and I hate to say this, I hate to say that I'm an empath, because I feel like a lot of people like misuse
I'm an empath.
Yeah, but I tend to empathize, and honestly, this is an autistic thing too. A lot of the time, are on either sides of the spectrum where like either you have trouble empathizing with people, understanding their perspective, or you over empathize with people. And so I think I'm on that end of the spectrum where I tend to over empathize. And so I don't think that 5 years ago I was ready for a relationship, because I first of all, I wasn't aware of that part of myself, and second of all, I would have no idea how to set boundaries for myself. And so what probably ended up happening was kind of a situation where, I was putting myself, I was not centering myself in a lot of situations, like but you can't do that in a relationship. Like you can't just like make it all about the other person,
right? It's tricky. And also like I mean, just thinking about it is like what, so like we're at like the what's the title of this episode? Or like
basically just like emotional readiness and
emotional readiness. And what I mean, well, like like what does it mean to be ready for a relationship, but also like what kind of relationship are you looking for, at what point are you in your life? Like it's like that it will kind of like ever change, and like the people who make like those long relationships work in a healthy way, because there's like, I mean, we've also seen a lot of so many examples of people being in long unhealthy relationships, and like just be like, oh, they're still together, but like, oh boy, they fight all the time. And like hopefully you find somebody that like grows with you at the same level, or at least like a compatible level with, because like also like in that kind of relationship there will be like ebbs and flows of like how much time you spend together, like over the course of like however many years. But like it's do you talk about attachment theory much on this?
I love it. I love talking about attachment theory. I love
talking about attachment theory.
I really do. I really love it. Anxious avoidant.
Oh, same. Woo! So you also run away? You also run away?
I run away, and then I'm like, but wait, and then I run away again?
Same. Like I'll run away and I'll say something mean, and I'll be like, I didn't mean it, and then I'll be like,
or I'll be like Stonewall, and then I'll be like, oh, but wait, come back, and then I'll be Stonewall again.
Sisters. An anxious avoidant attachment style.
It's because it's like I never know when I'm doing things right, and the second that I get the sense that I'm not doing things right, I book it, because I'm like, can't do that,
Well, okay, so You are always doing the right thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is the societal mindset that is like put it like in us, ingrained in us, that like you must do the right thing. There is no right thing. Yeah. Like me personally, like I'm just like there, like there is like there could be like a higher power, but like there's like also like if there is a higher power, like they have like bigger bananas to like worry about than like what you do. That's like so tiny, and so like any decision that you make is gonna be the right decision for you. Like it might not be the right decision for like somebody else, but also like you were doing the right thing and you were good.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good point, because like I mean, except for when it's like harming other people, but I feel like that's like self-explanatory. But but yeah, I feel like that's the thing, is like you really can't get caught up on those little details. It's like, oh, like, should I message this person back? Even, like, regardless of what the other person thinks, because people are just going to be done. You know?
I found the train of thought that I was.
Oh, amazing.
So, like, what is an anxious, like, avoidant, like, attachment style? Like, we run away.
Yes.
We run away. Why do we run away? Because also, ultimately, like, we need space to figure out, like, what we want. Like, to figure out, like, to, like, take those emotions and be like, oh, it means something and I'm grumpy and well, it does mean that I like want to be back with them and like so like like do you take a lot of alone time?
I do, and it's so, I don't know, it's so funny because I was kind of always that way, but then somewhere in my adolescence I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to be this way, so let me like go out and let me like do the stuff where like. Because here's the thing, too. I think for a lot of autistic people in their younger years, they get the sense, or any, like, other person in their younger years, they get the sense that the worst thing that they can be to other people is weird, or strange, or alt. And anything that can assimilate them into whatever normal culture is, then they take that route. So, like, for me, I think particularly with this last person, I hung on so tightly because I was like, okay, if I'm not associated with someone who's like normal, then no one will ever see me as human. Because once you are strange, once you are deemed as other, it is so easy to declassify you as human. And so my thing was like, okay, the only way that I can be assimilated into like whatever normal society. Yes. Because like what, you know?
I feel that too. I get that. Like I was like, oh, like I'm gonna make like this other person like into my identity, and then like I saw like because like I wanted that, like I wanted to be normal, and I wanted to have like what like everyone else in society had. Like you just wanted to like have that like other person to like which is not necessarily like the most healthy way to think of it. Like you can't have just like an emotional support buddy for like this I like have been like dabbling in like a lot of like polyamorous theory, and it just like I know like many people can say it in many different ways in talking about relationship theory, but like one person cannot be like your one and only ride and die. Like they can be a ride and die for like some things, but this is another TikTok thing that I really liked. They were talking about like the 4 different like quadrants of relationships.
Wait, I think you sent me that one.
Did I?
Maybe,
like,
or I saw it.
It was like the practical.
Oh wait, no, I didn't see that one.
Practical.
For those listening, there's a whiteboard. There's a whiteboard.
Yeah, don't worry, it's gonna be there. Practical, emotional, like lust, like erotic. What's the other? And social. So like these 4, there it is. So like these little 4 little buddies like are like kind of like what all relationships can like fall under. Like so like if you have a like ideally if you have like a partner, like you'll want them to like fall in like all of them, but also like could it look like if you're so like practical is like things around the house, or like just like asking for like life help stuff, and so like well give me your mom like so your mom like she could fall into like this category.
Mm-hmm.
No. But then,
oh, player.
But a little player. So like that's the mom energy. Like that's your mom relationship. Like this is like what you would want like a regular like relationship. Be like, but that's a lot. And then like this is like what like a player energy could be like, and in reality like there's gonna be like this like if relationship and life were like a board game and this was like the board game, like we would change forever, like being on this like little amoeba, like being like, oh, I want more social time, I want less social time, I want more sexy time, I want less sexy time, like I want, and so it's an interesting way to like think about it, but also like it doesn't really help like assuage any fear.
But hey, that's a good visual of all the spaces that a relationship can take up, and how if it only takes one of those spaces for a certain amount of time, like that's cool. Yeah. Like if that's what both of you agree on and are clear with each other about, then like that's cool. Like, and I feel like whatever relationship you pursue or whenever you pursue whatever, I feel like the bottom line has to be openness. Like you have to be transparent. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like that's what it is. It's like making sure the other person is in the same boat. Mm-hmm. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I feel it's about.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, Nathan, what is the final thought you would like to leave with our audience?
Oh, life is so complicated.
Yeah.
It's so complicated, but also, like, we keep trying because it's also still fun, and it's nice, and it's, like, awful, but, like, also, like, so nice. Like,
yeah.
so don't stop trying. Because also, like, there will be somebody out there, and then there might not be somebody out there, and then there'll probably be somebody out there. And then, like, but also, like, we're learning and growing the whole time. And, like, it's making, like, me into me, and you into you. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's so nice that we have this relationship right here.
Yes, authenticity. I love it. Move authentic to you, and life will happen, and you'll be fine. I'm saying it to myself. You'll be fine. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Nathan, for joining me.
Thank you for having me on. I hope I didn't, like, ramble too much.
No, we love it. We are all over this here. We love it. No, it's great. I'll catch y'all next time. This has been Plot Twist Please. This is Nathan, and I'm Shamaya, and we'll see you next time. Stay weird, y'all. Bye.